You are listening to the Keyz to the City Roc podcast. I am Christian Capello, and with me again is Noah Ogden. This weekend was a little crazy with the attendance being down just a little bit. Also, some players were missing from some of the teams because of the 25K in Buffalo. So the teams did get switched up a little bit, and we will talk about that a little bit later in the show. But first, we want to start with a couple of interviews taken by Matt Traybold from opening weekend. First interview is with McQuaid graduate Anthony Iglesias, who is one of the head coaches for Keyz to the City. He talks about training different players in Rochester and continuing to grow in his coaching knowledge.
So far, it's been really good. I've been successful with training Dante Carruthers, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Pickett. There's some of the top premier athletes in Rochester area. Traveling out to LA next weekend to work out with NBA trainer Rob McClanahan. Yeah, he's worked out Steph Curry, worked out Kevin Durant. I got fortunate enough to be connected with him through some sources, and just really hoping to make the best out of that opportunity.
Anthony will be attending Washington University next year to be part of their basketball program and not only serve as a player, but be part of their student coaching program. Next, we have interview with high school standout and number one point guard in the class of 2022, Jaden Bradley.
Well, Isaiah, he's a big mentor to me. He's always like this past weekend I tried out for the USA team, and I didn't make it. So Isaiah was just texting me, make sure I was okay. And then I have a lot of respect for that, so I just try to let everybody know where I came from, Rochester, and it's just great to be here.
So that was Jaden Bradley, number one point guard in the class of 2022. Again, we just want to thank 13 Wham News and Matt Traybold for those interviews, but both interviews really show how close these kids are in Rochester.
Yeah, I definitely think it shows a lot how Isaiah Stewart is one of the best overall high school players in the country. He's a 5-star recruit about to head off to college, and he's still worried about, a lot of the younger kids in Rochester. And I know he doesn't just stay in touch with Jaden Bradley, but he probably also stays in touch with a lot of the other players. And a lot of the players in Rochester in general play pickup together over the summer when they're back from college. So I think this creates a special bond with a lot of the players.
So this past weekend of Keyz to the City, Noah, was a little different. Teams got switched up a little bit. Some guys weren't there. What was your impression of this weekend?
There was definitely a lot of guys missing, and compared to week one, the stands were filled up the whole time for each game, and then this week it was much different. There wasn't as many people there at all. But, it was still a really good environment. And then this week compared to last week, the games were way more competitive. Every game pretty much came down to the final possession. And, some of the games were blowouts at halftime like we saw. And then, teams will come back out of nowhere and just, hit a bunch of three-pointers and come back out of nowhere. So that was really exciting, I thought.
Yeah, so this weekend kind of took away from our argument of Team X and Team Truth. Jalen Pickett not being there for Team X. Riddell Freeman did still play well. But what were some players that impressed you this past weekend?
The first guy that really impressed me was Keyz Slack. He's one of the shortest guys on the court, so people really don't expect much out of him. But the people that know Keyz Slack really know that he's a hooper. He probably had 6 threes in the game that we saw on Saturday, and his team only had 5 guys, so we had to play the entire game. But every possession, he should have been the guy getting the ball pretty much. He's really strong taking the ball to the basket, even though he is as short as he is, and his handle's crazy also.
Yeah, I like Keyz Slack too. I think he's a really good passer as well. I'm going to go with one of his teammates this past weekend, and he was one of the 5 guys that played with them, was Isaiah Brinkley. And he wanted the ball in his hands every possession, it looked like. And him and Sincere were going at it again. Sincere stirring the pot again like he did last week with Dane Miller. But this week it was Isaiah Brinkley he started up with. And I know Sincere is a very competitive player. So that's the kind of stuff you like to see, though, if you're a fan watching the game. Is that competitive spirit from Sincere. And him and Isaiah Brinkley were going at it. But Isaiah Brinkley probably had about 20 points, and he had some threes, and he was getting to the basket, being very aggressive, and getting to the foul line. So it was really fun to watch. What was another player that impressed you?
Christian Jones was my other player that stood out. He was the performer of the day on Saturday. I think he had 25 or 27 points, and he wasn't there last week, so a lot of people probably don't know about him. He is from Rochester, but I think he lives down in Tennessee right now, and he's a younger kid. He went to Greece Athena, and he has game. He has big-time game. He can shoot. He can drive. He has a little bit of everything in his game.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see Christian Jones play this past weekend, but the one player I think that stood out to me the most, and I heard about him in the first weekend, but Kobe Long was phenomenal, and he came he came a little late to the first game because he was playing in that first game, and they were down 15 or 16 points.
They were getting busted.
And we thought it was over. We thought the game was over. We were like, oh, my God, this game kind of stinks. They were down 17, 18 points. Kobe Long comes in, and he hits back-to-back threes. And then I think he might have hit a third three. And I just remember the guy behind us was like, oh, my God, this man is 2K. This man is 2K. But Kobe Long was a difference maker, and they ended up winning the game, I'm pretty sure, didn't they?
Yeah, they
won the game.
Yeah.
But Kobe Long was phenomenal, and he probably hit 6 or 7 threes when he came on, and the crowd was going crazy. But he helped his team pull away and get the victory in that first day. So me and Noah picked a top 5 players list from the first 2 weekends, and it's whether they played in the first weekend or second weekend. Noah, I want to hear your list first.
So my team I got Devontae Higgins, Christian White, Deion Hamilton, Takal Molson, and John Ivey. The players that I picked mostly based off of how competitive they were. For example, John Ivey, I only saw him play the first week, and I never heard of him before this event. And he really impressed me. He was talking crap to other players the whole time, and he played really hard defense, which I really liked. Christian White, obviously, we all know about him. He's a great shooter, a great point guard to lead the team. And Deion Hamilton, he's a great wing player. He gives the team a little bit of size. Takal Molson, he had a really good day last Sunday. He's going to be going to Seton Hall this coming year. He has great experience playing basketball. He's a D1 player, so I really like his game. And Devontae Higgins, he's probably one of the most freakish athletes I've ever seen in my life. He, during layup lines in the beginning of the game, he's doing off the backboard alley-oops, just doing crazy dunks the whole time. And I really like how competitive he is as well. Interesting
enough, our list is completely different. So I'm going to start, and I obviously have the better team. So I got competitive guys, I think, and I also got guys that I went for athleticism, a lot of athleticism on my team. So my first guy is Kobe Long, so impressive this past weekend, could shoot from anywhere in the gym. Then I got Jalen Pickett, who plays both sides of the ball from Siena, big-time player. I think he would lock up Christian White.
That's fine.
I got Dane Miller, who is from Rutgers University and went to Rush Henrietta. He really impressed me that first weekend. Had NBA-type moves and big man, so he's canceling out any big man that Noah's team has.
Let me ask you one question.
Okay.
Go with your team, then I'll ask you a question.
All right. I got Miles Brown, who's going to Ohio U, and you talked about him in that first weekend as well. We didn't get to see him this past weekend, unfortunately, but that first weekend he put my own guy, Dane Miller, in a blender and got to the rim and finished with the left hand. And then I got Gerald Drumgold, who is an athletic freak. I'd like to see him get to the rim a little more and play within himself, not shoot as many jump shots, but Gerald Drumgold is a unbelievable athlete, and he's going to Pitt next year.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many guys in your team have played college basketball?
2.
That's fine. How many on my team have played college basketball? Your team is too inexperienced, I think.
You think so?
I think they're all gonna be good, but if they were to play my team right now, I think that my team would have the upper edge for sure.
I don't know. I think I got some matchup problems for you.
Like who?
I think
Dame Miller might be a problem, but I think Deion Hamilton could definitely not lock him up, but I think he could stop him a little bit. I don't think anyone could lock up Dame Miller in the whole league.
Yeah, I do like Takal Molson a lot too.
Yeah, he's kind of inconsistent though. The first day I think we saw him, he really didn't do that.
He didn't impress me, and you pointed out that he was going to Seton Hall.
Yeah. And
transferred from where? Canisius?
Yeah, Canisius. Yeah.
Canisius.
Yeah.
But yeah, first day, but then you could tell though once he got in a rhythm.
Yeah.
He's a very good player.
He's going to Seton Hall for a reason. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like both of our teams, but
I really wish we could see Jalen Pickett and Christian White go at it because they're both Aquinas.
We have to. We have to see them go at it.
Yeah.
I would love to sit on their practice.
Me too.
And see how that was.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
So those are all-star teams through the first 2 weeks. Don't take offense, Sincere, if we didn't pick you and put you on here, but Sincere, you're my sixth man. I got you as my sixth man, so don't worry. Yeah. Hopefully next week we can get all of the players back and playing. Games this coming weekend are 6 and 10 on Friday and Saturday 4:30 to 8:30. Make sure you are there to see the best players in Rochester area. 200 Genesee Street is the location at the Wilson Foundation Academy. Just want to shout out again Deshaun Much and the rest of his family for putting on this great event. Thanks for listening, and hope to see you this Friday at Keyz to the Roc.